And now a woman plans the seating arrangements for Thanksgiving.
It's never too early to start this thing, especially after last year. Who knew a casserole ladle made such a great shank? Okay, first Uncle Billy will sit at the kids' table. Since he'll be so high, he'll just giggle with the rest of them. For obvious reasons, I'll put my mom and dad at a different table than Cousin Frank and his husband. My husband is allergic to cat hair, so he can't sit next to Aunt Sally. Grandma has no filter, which means I'll keep her away from my daughter's new boyfriend, Enrico, with the neck tattoos. My niece Becky uses they, them, their pronouns, so they have to sit far from my brother-in-law Chuck, whose pronouns are get her done. Finally, there's me. I'll put myself in the garage, alone. Oh, best Thanksgiving ever.
That was a woman planning the seating arrangements for Thanksgiving.
Your Morning Blitz begins now.
Have a great Friday, you mother...
To the end zone goes Chubb. Touchdown Browns. Look at this crowd. Nobody's left.
Boy, they didn't leave either. That snow was coming down. Everything was covered. They were throwing snow and watching their team win.
That was a great time, I'm sure.
I wanted to be out there playing. It just looked like a blast. Browns Steelers last night up in Cleveland, and man, it was quite the at times it was a whiteout.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, how are they even doing anything down there? But I guess the defense couldn't see the offense, so I guess they could move. I mean, it was 24-19, so they did score points, and it was pretty cool. I walked in this morning. Our news director Mark is a big Steelers fan, and he sees me, and the first words out of his mouth, "I hate the Browns." I had no dog in the fight, but I was happy for Cleveland fans. They had a rough year, and so something good happened. They beat their arch nemesis.
Yep.
They will, I think it was only the first meeting, so they will meet again in Pittsburgh, and it may not go the same. But for one night, prime time, Monday Night Football, in the snow in Cleveland, they had a really good time. These guys drunk with no shirts on, and, you see all of that stuff going on. But, yeah, lots of fun. Woke up to some snow on my truck and actually warmed it up for a few minutes before I left the house for the first time this year.
Okay, I saw an ad on TikTok Shop for this, thing. It's almost like a sun guard type situation,
yes.
But you put it on, over your windshield, and you can tuck it into your doors, and it looks like a big pain in the butt.
It is. I have one.
Yeah. Do you ever use it?
When it gets really bad, like if we're going to get a ton of snow, I will put it on, and I don't. There's a whole thing with it getting strapped inside your car, and
right.
And I don't go through all of that trouble.
Yeah.
I just pull the strap over and shut the door, and just enough so that I can just pull it off real easy, and I don't have to clean like snow underneath the windshield wipers and all that. But the best part of that thing, and I don't know if it's the same exact one, it comes with these little covers that go over your side view mirrors.
Yes.
And those are great. They just slip right on, and you just pull them off, and you don't have frozen side view mirrors in the morning.
This thing had like little ear flaps, like you would have on one of those hats.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
for those,
it had like
for
ear
those?
flaps. Yeah.
No, this one, maybe this one's a little easier to deal with, but it is pretty. It's pretty cool.
I like the idea of it, and I thought, I wonder if Charlie would like something like that. And then I looked at it some more, and then I started reading the comments, and somebody was like, "This is such a pain in the butt to use. Like, just throw some cardboard over there." I don't know what they were saying. That feels like that would freeze to your windshield. But anyway, we were like, saran wrap does the job just fine.
Oh, is that right?
I don't know. People were really crapping on it. So I was like, then I was doubting my thought that it was a good idea. So.
Well, maybe look at some other ones that might be easier. Because again, I don't know if what the one you're looking at is the same as mine, but it can be a pain in the ass to put on.
Yeah.
But maybe worth it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
It's made a few of my mornings much easier than they would have been otherwise. So
yeah, we both park in the garage, but then he has to leave his truck out when he goes to work. And
right.
I thought, well, maybe during the day if there's a big storm, it would be helpful.
No, then that means he's taking it on and off multiple times a day. Is that what you mean?
No, he parks and then he has a truck for work.
Okay,
so he parks his regular driving truck and picks up his work truck. So I thought to put on his regular car so when he came home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be worth it.
All right. I figured that. All right. Maybe. I doubt it. People were crapping on it too hard in the comments. I don't have the nerve to buy it now.
Well, that's why I say you might want. There's probably different ones. Maybe some other ones are easier. I don't know. All right, we've got some new music today from Marilyn Manson. He's got a new album out. We've also got a new single from the reunion, or whatever you want to call it, of 3 Days Grace.
Nice.
So we got a brand new song for them. We're going to get to that a little bit later. Happy Glicked. Kelly's favorite term.
It's so stupid.
I know.
It gives me, it jolts me right through my soul when you say it because it's so dumb and it sounds dumb. And I don't want you sounding dumb.
Okay. Well, Wicked and Gladiator 2 are out.
Thank you.
So there you go. Don't sing in the theater, when you're watching all that blood flying Gladiator 2.
Yeah. Don't sing in Gladiator. I love it.
All right, Morning Blitz trivia. $25 up for grabs to Waterbeds and Stuff and Beds and Stuff Superstores if you're the first one to text in the correct answer at 99700. There is a new docuseries coming out on Peacock next week, and it is all about this former adult video series, I guess, is the best way to put it. What is that adult video series that this docuseries is coming out about on Peacock next week? Be the first one to tell us the or the adult series, and we'll give you that $25 to go to Waterbeds and Stuff. Ozzy Osbourne on the Morning Blitz. It is 6:23. That's Kelly Quinn. I'm Thick Rick. Friday is here. A little cold and white, but it is going to get better.
Yeah.
You're going to get all this moisture out of here. It's still going to be a little cloudy for the weekend, but, 50 tomorrow, 55 Sunday, going to get to 60 on Monday. So it is going to get better. And then it'll get worse. Our Morning Blitz trivia question. There's a new docuseries coming to Peacock next week about what former adult film series or adult video series. And I'll just play a clip of the trailer for this docuseries.
It was so shocking.
It blew my mind what Joe Francis was able to convince these young girls to do.
Joe Francis was everywhere.
He's hanging out with famous people. In the first 2 years, Girls Gone Wild made $20 million.
Girls were already pulling their tops off and flashing the jet as we were pulling in.
I never thought that would come back and haunt me. For 20 years.
I was too young to be taped.
I first realized that these girls were minors when I got arrested. Joe was out of control.
He's been a fugitive for a decade now.
Do you feel bad for the girls?
Did you imagine that one day you'd be sitting in a chair to talk about Girls Gone Wild?
I figured at some point I get a knock on the door.
Man, I had not heard those words, Girls Gone Wild, and I feel like over a decade.
They were sued so many times over those videos and then went bankrupt, right? Is that what happened? Something like that.
I don't know, but he did agree, Joe Francis did agree to do an in-depth interview for the first time in a decade.
Interesting.
For this docuseries. It's called Girls Gone Wild, The Untold Story. And it will begin on Peacock December 3rd.
Is the untold story that there's like a weirdo creeper who decided he figured out a good way to get young girls to show him their boobs? Is that the untold story?
Well, there's a lot more than that, but yeah, I guess. I don't know. That got me, though, that part where he said when they would see the jet, they would lift up their tops.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be famous, or what? I mean, really? That's,
Well, combine booze with anything, and you'll get what you want.
Oh, yeah. And he would, there was, I know there was a lot of finding these girls to get into to be filmed in hotel rooms, like on spring break.
Yeah.
He'd go down to Daytona, and these girls would be drinking, and, hey, I'll pay you this if you jump on the bed and do this kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, really? And for him to say he didn't know.
He didn't know
they were underage?
Okay.
That's like saying, oh, yeah, there's no underage girls drinking anywhere on spring break, right? I mean, seriously, did you check their IDs? So, Nobody got it, though, Kelly. Oh, wait. Yes, they did. I'm sorry. Somebody came in late.
How late?
Oh, no. Wait a minute now. Hold on. Yeah. I don't think so, man. They came in at 6:25. I'm looking here to see the time. Nah, maybe. It's too close to call.
Too close to call.
Well, we started talking at 6:23, and then I played the clip pretty quick. The text came in at 6:25. Now, there's a delay. Should we give it to him?
Why not?
All right, Curtis St. Clair, you get the $25 to waterbeds.
I mean, it's Friday. We're feeling generous, right?
Yeah. So, all right, Curtis, we'll give it to you, man. All right. So Jeff Logan will be in at 7:35.
Yes.
The Hall of Fame legend from the Ohio State Buckeyes. Kelly, I am so nervous. This is a must-win.
Yeah.
If Indiana wins, they clinch the spot in the Big Ten championship against Oregon. We're out.
Okay.
We're just done.
Yeah.
No matter what happens against Michigan.
Yeah.
No, we can't have that. We have to win this game tomorrow.
Right. Why won't we?
I don't know. Well, Indiana's undefeated. They're really good. They haven't played anybody. They have not played a ranked team yet, though.
Okay.
So, but, I mean, they have blown a lot of teams out. They beat Michigan, last week.
I feel like their coach has got a big mouth, too.
He's a really good coach, though.
He's a good coach, but you can't have a big mouth like that because it always gets you in the end.
Well, you know what Kid Rock says. It ain't cocky if you can back it up.
That's true.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
I guess I haven't really heard him running his mouth.
Yeah, remember what Jeff said last week?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was telling us about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, then, we just got to go out there and shut him up.
That's right.
Just go out there and shut him up in the horseshoe tomorrow. Fans need to be, peak, man. Come on, you guys.
You think it's going to be that close?
I don't know. My prediction doesn't have it that close. We're favored by 13.5 points.
Yeah.
But it's just they're undefeated, and so that brings a mystique, and
right.
They just they've beaten a couple of teams way worse than we beat them, like Nebraska, stuff like that. So again, Penn State, not Penn State, but Michigan was it 20-15, I think. So they looked human last week.
Okay.
So we'll see. But we have to win. That's all that matters. It's a must win for the Buckeyes. And so we'll talk to Jeff at 7:35.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
Oh, of course we do. Friday edition of I've Got Something, and I do have something.
All right, let's hear it.
Man, this is crazy. A group of passengers had to spring into action and stop a man who allegedly tried to open the cabin door mid-flight during a trip to Dallas Tuesday morning. It took place on an American Airlines flight 1915 from Milwaukee when the Canadian national allegedly approached a flight attendant, asked to open the cabin door while they were in flight, and then he got agitated when the attendant wouldn't open the door. This was all from a report issued by the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport Department of Public Safety. The suspect allegedly tried to rush toward the door, struck the flight attendant who was blocking it, and then when the passengers saw this, they jumped up and rushed to the flight attendant's side and tried to subdue the guy who allegedly kept asking to leave the plane. The flight attendant then handed the passenger some duct tape, and they taped him up. I've got some audio here of one of the passengers involved.
There was no time. He was 2 feet from the door. It was just chaos. He was going for the door. And so I just grabbed the guy from behind and kept him from pulling the thing on the door. We were on our knees holding him down.
They taped up his wrists and his ankles and laid him on his stomach for the rest of the flight.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I was thinking they taped him to his seat, but that's like almost a hog tie situation.
Yeah, basically. That's what they did. Airport police and the FBI detained the man, put him in a wheelchair, and took him off the flight for medical evaluation. Obviously, he needed that. No arrests yet have been made, so the investigation's ongoing. The flight attendant who was confronted by the passenger was taken to the hospital for treatment. I guess her wrist and neck were injured during the altercation.
Wow.
But all good. Plane got there safely. And
how freaky would that be if some massive disturbance happened on your flight?
Right?
Holy cow. I'm already nervous flying. I don't really enjoy it. That happening, I feel like would be Panic City.
Yeah, and I got to believe it takes a lot for somebody to get involved in something, but when you're on a plane, especially after 9/11, when you think about 9/11, you remember the plane that went down that didn't make it to D.C. was because those passengers just said, no, this isn't happening, and they did something, and unfortunately it crashed anyway, but if I'm seeing this guy trying to get to the door and then he attacks the flight attendant, I'm going to jump up because my life's in danger at this point. That's right. You got to. So props to those passengers.
No kidding.
What you got?
Right, well, I got something. 23-year-old Peter Frank of Michigan has decided, as a celebration of his own life and his athletic abilities, he is going to canoe the Great Loop Route, which is basically the Appalachian Trail for canoers. It's 6,000 miles of canoeing. And so far, he lives in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. He started in June and has so far made it to Chesapeake Bay in Maryland this month. And it's like this continuous water course that includes part of the Atlantic, the Gulf Intracoastal Waterways, the Great Lakes, part of the Canadian Heritage Canals, and inland U.S. rivers. So it's an enormous, continuous water course.
Top of the country to the bottom.
So, yeah. So listen, though, the interesting thing, because I know people try to get out there and swim and kayak and boat and sail, and I'm like, okay, great, good for you, have a good time. It seems like a very lonely venture to me. However, let me tell you what happened to Peter Frank that is causing him to want to celebrate his strength in his life. 10 years ago, when he was 13 years old, all right? Peter Frank was playing with his buddies. They got this enormous pile of leaves, and they were like jumping in them. You get the pile of leaves, and you're like fly in them and jump in them. They're having a good time. Well, his two buddies went home for a second. They're like, we'll be right back. So Peter Frank decides, I'm going to hide in this pile of leaves, and I'm going to scare them when they come back. So he hides in the pile of leaves, which, by the way, were right on the curb.
Oh, no.
Some other teenager, decides, driving by, I'm going to drive through that giant pile of leaves.
Oh, my God.
Not knowing that this kid is in there, this 13-year-old. Runs over Peter Frank. When he's 13, he was almost paralyzed. He had a broken back, broken femur, punctured lung, broken ribs, a broken scapula, fractured tailbone, and a concussion. Wow. His liver and spleen were damaged. He had tire marks where the car's wheels spun over his torso and peeled off his clothing. And he survived all of this. As you can imagine, probably had a lengthy amount of physical therapy. And now he's decided at the age of 23 to launch off on this big venture. He does have a blog. You can look it up, peterfrank.com.
So he's good now?
Blog.
He's healthy?
He's good now. He's recovered.
23.
And is like, is thinking, you know what? Life is short. I found out as a 13-year-old. So that's wild.
And maybe you don't have it. I just wondered, did anything happen to the guy who ran over him?
No, I think it was an absolute and utter accident. Right. He had no idea. Right. The leaves were by the curb, right there on the street.
Man. That is bizarre, but stuff like that can happen.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
The Mighty Met on the Morning Blitz at 6:53 with Kelly Quinn and Thick Rick. And Kelly, did you ever order a pizza? And it has to happen. It happens all the time. And there's a lot of grease on top of it.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes your pepperoni be curled up like into a bowl shape, and there's like a puddle of grease inside those pepperonis.
Yeah, a lot of people say that's the best way to eat it.
Greasy.
Yeah,
But maybe it's too much grease for you.
It always is for me. I have to put a little paper towel on top and dab it.
Okay. So you may want to try this hack.
Okay.
All right. This was trending a couple days ago. A woman on TikTok posted this to make your pizza healthier. And you have to do it as soon as you get it, right after it's delivered, still inside the box. Here she is.
I learned this in college. Okay, so you take the pizza, flip it, and you drop it. Pick it up, flip it. Drop it. Now all the grease is on top, and there's no more grease on your pizza. Is that weird? I don't think it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So
what happens to the cheese and the toppings?
Well, she opened the box, and you could see the top of the box was covered in grease. This grease was on the top of the box, and the pizza looked fine. Now, I am an extra cheese person when I get pizza. So I'm curious if I do that, is my cheese all going to be stuck on the top? But she does it real quick. She flips it upside down, drops it, picks it up, drops it again, then picks it up, turns it back up, flips it real quick.
Yeah.
Opened it up, and the pizza was perfect. There was nothing on the lid but grease.
Okay.
So I'm like, I may try it sometime. I don't know, but I'm just like, I know my pizza's going to be a mess if I do this.
Yeah.
And it didn't look like she had a ton of toppings. Like, I didn't even see any pepperoni on it.
Yeah.
All I did see was cheese, but the cheese never stuck to the top of the box.
You're really trusting that the top of that box hasn't been manhandled by somebody who just went to the bathroom and didn't wash their hands.
Well, I mean, it could that they've handled the whole box putting your
You're
pizza
right.
in there.
You're already putting a lot of trust.
I hope
But
not.
I don't know. I feel like just the old paper towel method is
you just dab
easier. It's less risky.
Just kind of lightly push down on the paper
but
towel.
Everybody's got their little life hacks that work for them, so I like it. 2 thumbs up.
I don't know. I think I'll just eat the grease.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
President-elect Trump is out with a new pick for Attorney General after Matt Gaetz withdrew his nomination yesterday. Trump chose former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi for the position, saying in a post on Truth Social that she will refocus the DOJ to its intended purpose of fighting crime and making America safe again. Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz was once investigated for sex trafficking. No charges were filed. He has denied the accusations. But some Republican senators expressed some reservations about his nomination, so he stepped down. Well, in case you missed it and you take Klonopin for anxiety, seizures, muscle spasms, it is being recalled by the manufacturer because some labels were printed with the incorrect strength. The company is worried that the mislabeling could lead to unintentionally taking higher doses of Klonopin than prescribed, which could lead to sedation, confusion, dizziness, loss of muscle coordination, and muscle weakness. And for those with pulmonary disease, it could lead to death. Now, this misprint is only on the outside carton of the medication, but the print on the tablets is accurate to the strength of the drug. On Monday, Netflix is dropping a docuseries on JonBenet Ramsey. It's a 3-parter. It's called Cold Case, Who Killed JonBenet Ramsey? It's among the many re-examinations of the baffling murder of the 6-year-old pageant girl back in 1996. One interesting angle of this is that a couple purchased the Ramseys' home in Boulder, Colorado, and they have lived there for years. And they have been approached numerous times with 7-figure offers to allow filming and maybe discuss what it's like to be living in this house where this little girl's body was on. Because there are tons of like those murder tourists or whatever they say that they love to come by the house and see it. And so this couple's name is Tim and Carol Milner. They say, well, they weren't surprised. They were approached by the producers of this Netflix series as well. They absolutely refuse to allow any type of filming there. They will not be interviewed. And no amount of money, apparently, will make this couple talk about, their experience in this child's death. So I find that to be really above board. Like, that is a solid thing to do.
Admirable.
Yes. No amount, 7 figures will not make you, exploit your home and this little girl's death. I do like it. I'm surprised. I feel like maybe I might not turn down a 7-figure offer.
They must really like the house.
Well, yeah, and everybody knows where it is. That's the thing. Yeah. It's not like they're going to expose something that isn't already known. Everybody knows where this house is.
Yeah, I know, but I guess the only reason you would spend so much is to make some sort of something out of it, to make money off of it.
Right. But who doesn't? I don't know. It's like
they just want to live there.
Yeah, they just want to live in peace, but I don't know. Now it's not so bad, but I know in the beginning there were drive-bys of that house all the time. People who were amateur, considered themselves amateur detectives and things like that. Yeah, there was a lot of trouble.
Solvers. Yeah.
So,
do you think the parents did it?
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have a strong opinion. I don't know the case like many people do. Of course, I know more details than I'd like to about it. However, people have always made a case for Burke, the brother.
Yeah.
And if I could be convinced of something, it might be that.
All right.
I don't know. What do you think?
I have no clue. I mean, it's just one of those things that there's just no evidence that makes you go, oh, it was dead. This
no,
person.
exactly.
There's just nothing.
It's just a mystery.
Yeah.
All right. Those are your 3 things.
Godsmack and Soul on Fire, 7:10. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick. Got Jeff Logan coming up here in about 25 minutes. Talk about that Buckeye game tomorrow. Big game. We got a lot of tickets to give away this morning to our Blitzmas concert series, and your first chance happens this hour. You'll be able to pick between the Daughtry Show, the In This Moment Show, or the Pop Evil and Bad Wolf Show. And you are listening for Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie. That's what you want to listen for when the song starts. You be caller 9 at 1-800-821-9970, and you will get to pick tickets. And remember, Pop Evil and Bad Wolves and Daughtry, those 2 shows come with meet and greet passes. So be listening for that. It'll happen before 8 o'clock. Kelly, there's a movie coming out called A Complete Unknown. It's the story of Bob Dylan.
Yes, okay. I've seen a little bit about that.
Timothy Chalamet is playing Bob Dylan. And apparently, the cast of this movie, everybody who's part of this movie, were absolutely blown away by Timothy's ability to sing Bob Dylan. So he is doing all of the singing himself.
Wow.
And here's a little sample of how good he is at it.
Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? Oh, where have you been, my darling young one? I stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. Wow. I walked and I crawled on 6 crooked highways.
Oh, he sounds just like
That's amazing.
I stepped in the middle of 7 sad forests. I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans.
Boy, they casted the right guy for this.
I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. It's a heart. It's a heart. Oh, it's a heart. It's a heart. It's a heart.
Man, just like him. Got the look, got the voice, perfect guy to play Bob Dylan.
You know, with Rami Malek and the Queen biopic. Okay, is that what it was? It wasn't a biopic. It was a movie.
Yeah, just a movie about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously Rami Malek did not sing, but they did use it like a Canadian singer. And they used Freddie Mercury's master tapes, and they did like a combination of somebody else singing Freddie Mercury, who apparently this guy sounds exactly like him. But that has got to be an unbelievable stroke of luck to find an actor who can actually perform the singing as well. I always find that too, like when they do things that involve playing instruments, and some of these actors will study for months and months to be able to play a piece on the piano or the violin or something. It's really incredible. There are people with too much talent out there. They got it all, and you know what? We got jack squat.
So here we are. That's all right. That's all right. I still love the rock and roll, so I'm good with it. White Zombie on the Morning Blitz, 724. Kelly Quinn and Thick Rick. Got to say congrats to Joe Amorine from South Bloomingville. Was caller number 9 when he heard White Zombie there, and got in on the Blitzmas concert series ticket giveaway. He picked the Pop Evil Bad Wolf show coming up next Friday at the Bluestone. And that comes with meet and greet passes, so he's going to get to meet the band, and we still have tickets to Daughtry and In This Moment to give away, so we'll have your next chance to win coming up just after 8 o'clock. Kelly, have you ever been on a plane and you got severe turbulence?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know what your definition of severe is, but I was afraid, because it just kept happening. It was like the plane would drop a little and then rock, and it was enough to make me worried, I guess.
Okay, but was there stuff flying in the plane?
Never.
Oxygen mask falling out of the ceiling and all of that?
Okay.
This just recently happened. Listen to the audio of this.
Sam?
It's okay.
Sam, we need a
Everybody right? Help her. Help her up. Help her up.
I mean, it looked like a scene out of a movie.
Yeah, that's never happened.
All, the masks all dropped out of the ceiling, and like baggages were coming out of the overhead compartments. The stuff was just like flying up and down in the air, all kinds of stuff.
Did anyone say, I like my suitcase?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was a Scandinavian Airlines flight from Stockholm to Miami. Had to turn around last week.
Yikes.
It was over Greenland and just, man, it got blasted. All right, now another kind of a similar situation that happened on this cruise ship, the Royal Caribbean, the Explorer of the Seas. It left Spain November 2nd, and it was supposed to arrive in Miami last Thursday, but there was an incident 5 days in. This massive wind gust near the Canary Islands off Africa left the ship tilted on one side. One passenger said they felt like they were at a 45-degree angle for about 3 minutes.
You have got to be kidding
No,
me.
and people were sliding across the floor.
Oh my
Stuff was falling off the bar.
You have to be thinking you're on the Titanic
Oh,
at
yeah.
that point.
Okay, well, that's the best part. While this is happening, when you're on a cruise ship, they play music.
Yeah, was the band still playing?
Well, it wasn't the band, but there was music coming out of the speakers. And I don't know why you would play this on any cruise ship, but you can't make this up. While this was happening, this was playing. I'm not even joking. People thought it was maybe some sort of an act, like that they were, just messing with people. But this was actually, you can go watch the videos. There are multiple videos that people took online. And you can hear it playing. Like when you see the people in the bar and the glasses start falling and sliding sideways, this song is playing. I'm like, why would you even play this anyway? At all, ever on a cruise ship? I don't know. But let's see, I got a clip of one of the passengers who was on the cruise ship here. Oh, let me stop Celine. Here we go.
We were in the theatre and they were playing a Celine Dion song from Titanic, and we actually thought it was part of a special effects. The ship started to tip to one side, all the bottles and all the glasses fell off the bar, and we're like, wow, this is amazing. And then we realised, look at the crew's faces, this isn't special effects.
Jeez.
Can you imagine?
No.
I did finally get to Miami. But, the bar scene was the one that got me, because you see people like out around the bar, they start holding on to things and they're falling, and then everything's falling off the bar, and you hear the song playing. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
Wild. It makes me not want a vacation.
I know, right?
Unless I can just be I need to be on terra firma. I will tell you that. I can never take a cruise.
Oh, man.
I don't want to be in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, no,
ever.
I just want to be on an island.
I don't even want to be in the middle of the ocean on an airplane.
Right.
That's not comfortable for me.
Only one person got hurt, needed medical attention. The ship was fine. It righted itself, and, but they were just a little late. So they got a couple extra days on the cruise out of it.
Excited about a great week here, and one thing that is great about being at Ohio State is you get a chance to be around the best fans in the land, and I know that this week is going to be a huge opportunity for us to show a nation what the best damn fans in the land look like. And so this is going to be that type of game where we got to be loud on third down every time they have the ball, and certainly the atmosphere is going to be tremendous. So looking forward to this week of prep, and challenging our guys this week to have the best week of preparation they've had all season, and then get after it on Saturday.
$7:39 on the Morning Blitz. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, Hall of Fame Buckeye legend Jeff Logan in studio talking about, the biggest game of the year for the Buckeyes. It's a must-win, Jeff.
Indiana week. Whoever thought that would be a thing?
Not me. I still don't believe it. He's all upset over it and thinks that we might be able to lose, and I think there's no way.
I'm just nervous.
There's no way.
I think both sides are founded.
Yeah.
We're not losing this game, guys.
I understand. And, there's plenty of evidence out there to be on either side of the fence when it comes to this game. But it is so odd to sit here as an Ohio State football team that has only lost to Indiana since 1925 like 5 times. I mean, it's like silly
to be concerned
that we're even talking about that. But there has been a culture change.
Yes.
At Indiana. And, guys, this is a great stat. And I don't think this reflects the current Indiana football team, but I think it's important that you know about this. The losingest program in the history of college football, meaning the team that has the most losses combined in their entire collegiate career, is the Indiana Hoosiers.
Wow.
Is that shocking? I mean, you would think Northwestern or Rice or pick your poison. There's got to be somebody.
It's Indiana.
Wow. And then next to them is Northwestern, and then Rutgers is next to them with the most, and they're all in the Big Ten Conference, obviously. But Indiana football has historically, and they've earned it, but there is a culture change, and Curt Cignetti, the head football coach, well documented. I think most fans, at least in Columbus, have certainly heard it all this week. He came from James Madison University, all right, a Division I AA program, kind of like Jim Tressel, all right, when Jim Tressel came to Ohio State, kind of at the same level as Youngstown State, all right. So he comes in here, and Curt Cignetti does exactly what Tress did. He goes into the basketball arena and says, you're going to be proud of this Hoosier football team. And Purdue sucks, which is their number one rival. And he said, and oh, by the way, Michigan and Ohio State suck too. Right? And the words have continued, all week long.
Yeah.
And the one thing that they have done so far is that they have backed up 100% of the words that have come out there. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Who have they played that we would be like, ooh, they really won?
Well, they haven't played a ranked team.
They have not played a ranked opponent all season long. They have not played an offense that is ranked higher than 40th in the country. And, are you going to fear the likes of Charlotte?
Right.
Or FIU? Or
Michigan?
And yeah, how about that? They benefited this year by the fact that they do not have Penn State on their schedule. Right. And, they don't have Wisconsin on their schedule, some of the tougher programs in the country. In fact, if you look at the comparable games in the Big Ten Conference, there's only 3 common opponents on our schedule and theirs, and that is Northwestern, Nebraska, and Michigan State. Outside of that, we've played a totally different schedule than they have. They are an interesting group in that Indiana has brought in about 55 transfers. So what Cignetti did is he cleaned house when he got to Indiana. Just said, you guys are gone, and we're bringing in a whole new crop of people, and most of them, the majority of those transfers came from James Madison.
Wow.
He took the cream of the crop. Now, again, that's a 1AA program. So those guys went to James Madison for a reason. They weren't good enough to play at the highest level, but they have improved their game. They understand what he's all about, and they have a different culture over there. So give it up to him. He's done a terrific job, but this is where the dream ends because they are going up against a really good Ohio State football team.
You talked about, the teams they've played, the schedule, but half those teams they didn't beat in the past. Even with that schedule, they would have lost half those games. So they've needed that culture change you mentioned for a very long time.
No question.
And they've got it. And, it's funny, though. You look at the stats. If you look at offensive yards per game put up by the Buckeyes and the Hoosiers, the difference is less than 2 yards per game.
Average, yep.
And if you look at the defense the same way, the difference is less than 5 yards per game. That's how close we are stat-wise. But then, again, schedule-wise, they haven't played a ranked team.
Against whom?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
exactly.
that's the biggest challenge. If you look at, the total defense rankings in the country, Ohio State is number 2 in total defense. Indiana is number 3, but against what?
Right.
We have at least played 2 other top 5 opponents in in Penn State and Oregon. So the challenge of the schedule is a little bit better. From a scoring defense, Ohio State is number 1 in the country. Rush defense, Indiana's number 1, Ohio State's number 4. Team passing efficiency. I'd like to talk a little bit about Indiana and Ohio State are about equal in that regard. That is Will Howard against Curtis Rourke.
Yep.
Curtis Rourke is the transfer from Ohio University, a 24-year-old Canadian that, because of COVID, because of Canadian, you go to 13th grade. Do you know about that? Do you know?
No.
In Canada, you don't stop at 12. Grade 13.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What do they call that?
Grade 13.
No, I know, but you got is junior, senior.
You
what do they call
redshirted
it?
your kindergarten year.
What-
So
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, is that it?
It's just called grade 13.
Okay.
And you're in 12th grade, and then you do it's like a pre-college kind of thing that they do in Canada. So
maybe they start juniors in 10th grade. Maybe freshmen. Maybe
he was
you're
a little
freshman
late to
in
the
10th
game.
grade.
He was a little late to the game, but has perfected his skill. And Curtis Rourke is a really, really good quarterback. And, the game of college football today has come down to the ability for the quarterback to be able to make plays. And when you look at Ohio State and you look at what our guy has done, especially in the second half of the season, it's been remarkable. I mean, he has been terrific. He's not the guy that's throwing the 80-yard bombs down the field, but he's completing over 70% of his passes. And his touchdowns to interception ratio is off the charts. So from a passing efficiency standpoint, both of these teams are really, really good, and they don't make a lot of mistakes.
Well, again, you know me, pass rush. We've got to make him uncomfortable. And what I notice about him is he gets rid of the ball quick. Like you said, he's not making a lot of deep passes, but those quick 5-6 yard passes that turn into 12, 13 yards when he does those nonstop, man, we got to slow that down.
And of course, the big news this week was the injury to Seth McLaughlin.
Breaks my heart.
Starting center for Ohio State. He transferred here from Alabama. He's been one of the, not only one of the best technical fundamental linemen that you've had out there, but as a center, you're the quarterback of that offensive line. You're calling the protections. You're getting everybody lined up and doing their job right. And a kid that is a 4-point finance major. He's one of 16 scholar athletes that is going to be honored by the National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame in Las Vegas later this year. And he's a finalist for what's called the Campbell Trophy, which is the Heisman Trophy for the guy that is the best brains, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So he is in line to be able to be recognized in that regard. He's been an inspirational leader of this program. And here's my take on it, because I saw Buckeye Nation became deflated as soon as this news came out that, oh my God, we're done. We've lost 40% of our offensive line because we lost our left tackle earlier this year. Yep. Now we've lost our center. And I'll tell you what, the only ones I feel bad for are the players that have lost the opportunity to become part of something very special because they can't play. Yeah. All right. I don't feel bad for the team, because the team and the coaches have the responsibility of making sure that you get ready to go out there and do what you do. They're all scholarship players. They're all receiving NIL money. These coaches are being paid millions of dollars. Yep. Get them ready. Yep. Get them to play. And that's exactly what happened when we went to Penn State. We thought there's no way we're going to be able to block Abdul Carter at that defensive end position. He's going to wreck everything for Ohio State. What did we do?
Donovan said, watch this.
We got over there and we got it done, right? We got it done. We found a solution.
Yes.
You can either sit in the problem, or you can concentrate on working in the solution. And that's what Ohio State has been challenged with all this week, is getting ready for the solution against a really good Indiana defense.
And Ryan Day said at the press conference, he said, he talked about the adjustments on the offensive line, said they've had a great week of practice and he has full confidence in them. And, and again, we go back to Indiana and who the competition they have faced. They haven't seen a defense like this one.
Right.
So there's that. And has their defense faced an offensive line even as good as the one we have now, even a makeshift line that we have now?
Not even close.
So
not even close. And I think that this culture that they have built over there is really solid.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing that you bring to the table, and on that first series of the game, once you get hit in the mouth, all of a sudden you may understand that they call you the Crimson and Cream for a reason. All right.
Well, it was Mike Tyson. He goes, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yes. And, if Ohio State is able to in this football game come out and take care of the football, number one. The one stat that I'll share with you guys, and I don't want to bore you with stats on this thing, but I think this is kind of important, is turning over the football is obviously a disaster regardless of who you're playing against. Can you get away with it if you're playing Purdue or Northwestern? Sure you can, all right? It may keep the game closer, but you're not going to lose the game. But if you take a look at Indiana and Ohio State, we talk about points off of turnovers. So if you turn the ball over, what did the other team do with it? Indiana has a significant advantage in points off of turnovers this season. They've created 17, but they've scored 73 points off of those turnovers during the season. All right. And given up only 10 when they turned the ball over.
All right.
Ohio State, in comparison, has 45 points off of turnovers and has given up 23. So all that tells us is that if you take care of the football, what makes their offense really good is getting the ball in short field situations where you turn it over on your own side of the 50-yard line. That's what you can't afford to do against Indiana because they will capitalize on those kinds of plays. If you make them go 80 yards, that is going to be the way you will win the football game by not turning it over.
Well, if we run it down their throat, that keeps their offense off the field, wears down their defense. We win time of possession. And again, we haven't seen a lot of it, but based on the schedule, I mean, Jonah Coleman from Washington ran all over them a couple weeks ago.
He did.
Averaged over 5 yards a carry. So that right there, I looked at that and went, oh, well, our guys can run then.
They should. Again, makeshift offensive line, new center. Hinsman will be moving over to the center position. It's a position he played all of last year. He started every game for Ohio State at center. And then this year, because Seth McLaughlin came in from Alabama, they moved him to the guard position. And actually, he was a backup guard after starting all season long. Now, he's been brought into duty because of the loss of Josh Fryer at the other end when we lost the tackle.
Right.
But it's not like these guys don't have experience. So I talked about this last night on our Bucks Line show over on WTVN Radio. We talk about the fact that we develop players here, right? Developed here. That seems to be the mantra of Ohio State football. You come here, we will develop you and give you an opportunity to play in the National Football League. Well, let's prove it. All right?
Yeah.
Your offensive line coach, let's prove it. Have we developed these guys? Because we have had players that have been itching to get into the mix.
Oh, yeah.
We have players that have been bitching to get into the list, right? They want to become part of it.
Yeah.
And so now is your opportunity.
Yeah.
It's all the words are done. You can't say, I didn't get my chance.
I think about a guy like Trey Sermon a couple years ago.
Yes.
Who really wasn't getting play time, and then all of a sudden he did, broke Eddie George's single-game record and had a great run through the postseason. And got drafted into the NFL after basically off of 3 games.
Yes.
Is what he played.
That's developed here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So these guys come in, they get a chance now to play in the most important games on the biggest stages throughout the rest of the season. Yeah. So they, and I gotta believe Seth is still going to get drafted.
I hope so.
But he's too good to not get drafted.
Yeah, this is not a career-ending injury.
Right.
I think he will play at the next level. One of the really important things, guys, that happened this week that I thought was important. This injury to Seth McLaughlin, I think, happened in practice on Tuesday.
Untouched.
They were going full goes and everything else, but this was an untouched kind of an injury, a freak accident. But 24 hours later, at practice, who is there on one of these little scooters? Seth McLaughlin.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Nice.
Yeah. He had every reason in the world to go sit in his apartment and sit in a corner and mope and complain and blame and do everything you could do. What does he do? He gets his butt out there and he is a part of the program. He is turned into another coach on the field.
Yeah.
And that has an impact on the rest of those players.
Sure.
When they see a guy like that whose world has just been devastated, yet what's most important for him? Team. And he's there. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And the NFL sees that too.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Sure.
Great leader, great kid. And he had he has that promotion going on where he was selling hats that were going to benefit the Columbus Food the Food Collective. Run the damn ball.
Run the damn ball. And that's what I'm saying today.
Yeah.
Run the damn ball tomorrow.
And we'll see what happens come Saturday. Noon game. The world will be here. There is no other game in college football on the schedule. I mean, it's even close. So College Game Day is here at noon.
Your buddy's going to tell you all about the game all game long.
Gus, if the best part about sitting in the press box is I don't have to hear Gus Johnson at all. It was refreshing to watch Ohio State play last week at Northwestern and not have to hear Gus Johnson. It was great to see a 3-hour game on the Big Ten Network instead of a 3.5-hour Fox game. But again, the rest of the way out, we got the team up north next week. I can't even believe we're sitting here talking about Indiana versus getting ready for the team up north. Yeah. But these are elimination games. Thick, you and I were talking about it before we went on the air. This is, one and done.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Now, if Ohio State were to lose this football game, they're out of the Big Ten championship.
Yep.
All right. Just know that for a fact. If they win this game, then they're pretty solid.
Yeah.
In terms of being able to get in, regardless of what happens against the team up north.
Yeah.
All right. Win this game, you're taking care of business. If you were to lose this game, don't go to the Big Ten championship, beat the team up north, Ohio State is still a playoff
You think
team.
they'll still get
Absolutely.
in? They'd probably have to go on the road, though, wouldn't they?
Yes. You're not going to host a game.
Right.
You're going to be one of those roadies. You don't want to do that, but there is a path to the national championship, even if you were to lose this football game. But they got to look at this as elimination games because one of their goals for sure, is to win the Big Ten championship. And do they want another swing at Oregon? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's the meat. That's what's hanging out there.
Let's go
for this football team is to get to the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis and get another swing at the Ducks.
Yes,
so that's what it's all about.
All right. Last week we beat Northwestern 31-7. Kelly had it 56-6. I had it 42-7. Jeff, you had it 37-10. I was 11 points off, but Jeff, you were 9 off, so you got the win this week,
sir. I am on a roll.
You are on a roll.
It's crazy.
You had a rough year last year, but you have rebounded.
I think
very
I've
well.
had a rough couple years.
You had a lot of injuries last year. A lot of guys were on IR, so I got to cut you some slack.
It may have been head injuries myself. All right, so I predicted a couple weeks ago that Ohio State would be a 14-point favorite going into this Indiana
Did you?
game.
That's wow.
I did.
13.5.
The minute I saw that Indiana was a 14-point favorite against the team up north, I said, well, the first thing I thought of, that means we're going to be a 28-point favorite against Michigan. How cool would that be? I don't know that that's going to happen, but it'll probably be 3 touchdowns. But anyway, I thought we would be a 14-point favorite, and when the line opened, it opened out at around 12.5. It's gone up to 13.5, settled down around 13, thereabouts. But Ohio State a 2-touchdown favorite in this game. I think they cover, guys. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I've got 34 for the Buckeyes because that is a great number, 34.
Yes, it is. It's our favorite number.
And 17 for the Fighting Signetis.
All right.
34-17, Kelly.
All right.
Kelly, you want to go next or you want me to go?
It doesn't matter. I have mine written down. I'm solid with it.
Go with it, Kelly.
38-10 Buckeyes.
Ooh, total domination there.
All right, mine
total
was already
domination.
typed, it was already printed. Indiana's given up some points recently. They gave up 24 to Northwestern. They gave up 28 to Maryland. They're going to give up 38 to the Buckeyes tomorrow, and we will allow them 20. So 38-20. Buckeyes cover and win.
We'll take it, man. Any of those would be great, and nothing would be better than to put one on the Hoosiers, put them back where they belong, watching basketball.
Yeah, as long as one of us in this room wins next week,
we don't
I'm
care.
happy. I'm
we
good.
don't care.
I
We're
don't
all
care.
celebrating.
I'm rooting for all of us.
And let's get on to Michigan week, right?
Yes.
Good. All right, thank you, sir. We'll talk to you Wednesday.
Go Bucks.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
An Alabama man convicted in the 1994 killing of a hitchhiker cussed at the prison warden and then flipped the double bird shortly before he was put to death last evening in Alabama by nitrogen gas. This guy is a piece of human crap, by the way. 50-year-old Carrie Dale Grayson is the 3rd inmate to be executed with the nitrogen gas method, and I do hope he suffered. Let me tell you a bit about Carrie Dale Grayson's crime, which may be one of the most brutal things I've ever read. 30 years ago, Grayson was 19 years old and the oldest of 4 teens, convicted of killing 37-year-old Vicky DeBlue as she hitchhiked through Alabama on her way to her mother's home in Louisiana. In this order, the 4 teens attacked her, beat her to death, sexually assaulted her, and threw her body off a cliff. And then after dropping the youngest of the murderers back home, the 3 older boys went back, found her body, and absolutely mutilated her. What remained was discovered 4 days later by some rock climbers. The murderers were found. You might wonder, how were these 4 teenagers found in the age of no surveillance cameras? One of them was carrying around this poor hitchhiker's severed finger and ended up bragging to one of his buddies about what they'd done. So that's how they were all busted. The 3 others ended up having death sentences commuted to life in prison because they were under the age of 18 at the time. Anyway, that guy deserved every ounce of what he got yesterday and more. Sean Diddy Combs will be in a New York City courtroom today in another effort to get out of jail. Combs is accused of racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution-related charges. He has been in a federal lockup in Brooklyn since his arrest in September, and he's already been denied bail twice before. The only way you can get even a second bail hearing is if there is a significant change in your circumstances. I'm not sure how these attorneys are convincing this judge to continue giving Diddy bail hearings, but apparently, I guess the prosecution in this case did some sort of a jail cell raid on Diddy's jail cell, supposedly looking for contraband. But they also took pictures of apparently one of those yellow legal pads where a bunch of stuff was written on there. The defense attorneys claimed that was part of like a legal
that binding
envelope
between the lawyer and the
right. So it was
client.
in an envelope. They say was marked legal, and so it is bound under attorney-client privilege.
Yeah.
But in all the pictures, there's nothing that's marked legal. There's no mark. So they're going to be fighting this out in court. I can only imagine this is the extenuating circumstance that they're trying to convince this judge matters. But anyway, we'll see. God willing, he stays in jail. AMC Theaters is reminding moviegoers to leave the singing to the stars of Wicked this weekend. We've been talking, I think you brought this up a couple days ago, but they are going to be showing a warning, a playful warning before screenings of the movie Wicked, saying no talking, no texting, no singing, no wailing, no flirting.
No flirting.
Some fans have taken to social media with stories, and they're all over TikTok, of going to a theater, like saying, I'd never seen Wicked before, and really all I could hear were the people around me singing loudly. And we're not that happy with it. There is a sing-along version of this movie starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo that will hit theaters next month. So for now, no singing. And those are your 3 things.
Highly suspect and little one on the Morning Blitz. That's Kelly Quinn. I'm Thick Rick. It is 8:12, and I think we've had the worst of the weather that we're going to see for the next few days, because tomorrow will be better. Cloudy, high near 50. 52 on Sunday, near 60 Monday, so a little better over the next few days. We are sitting at 33 right now with another chance for you to get in on the Blitzmas Concert Series presented by Buckeye City Motorsports and powered by Chimney King of Columbus and Lions Den. We have tickets for 2 of the shows left in this moment, which is coming up next Saturday, November 30th at Kimba Live, and also Daughtry with Sleep Theory and Devour the Day at Kimba Live on Friday, December 6th. That show comes with meet and greet passes, and if you would like your choice of those tickets, you need to listen for Metallica's Fade to Black. We will play that before 9 o'clock. When you hear Fade to Black start, you call us 1-800-821-9970, and if you are caller 9, you will get your choice of the tickets to either Daughtry or In This Moment. Lenny Kravitz on the Morning Blitz, 8:23. Kelly Quinn, Dick Rick. Less than 5 weeks from Christmas. You guys do real tree?
No.
No, I didn't think
Artificial.
So. Okay.
It's in our basement right now. It's already set up.
Oh, yeah?
It's not decorated, but we never take it down. We just jam it down the basement stairs. I have to fluff it up a little every year, and that's it.
We actually talked about getting an artificial tree this year.
Oh, yeah?
We haven't ever. Always get a new live tree every
There's something nice about a live tree.
That smell, man. I love that
there's
smell.
something real nice about it.
Well, I saw this this article. It said there could be a Christmas shortage, a Christmas tree shortage this year. And I'm like, okay, what kind of crap is this? Well, there was a Christmas tree farm in North Carolina that was devastated by Hurricane Helene. Okay. And it destroyed 80,000 Christmas trees. This is, let's see, what's his name? Graham Avery of Avery Farms talking about the total destruction of his farm's crop.
You can do simple math, and then, if we had 60 to 80,000 trees that we've lost and they're $30 to $55 wholesale, I mean, it's a tremendous amount of money. It's gone. And it's going to be a tremendous amount of money to strip all this land back down to dirt and start all over. So it's millions of dollars, and it's many years. So it's just awful.
Now, poor Graham Avery there, he never said anything about a Christmas tree shortage, but the article was talking about this could impact the cost of Christmas trees this year. And I'm like, because of 80,000 trees, I'm thinking, how many trees, are there? How many farms? So I did a little research. Mm-hmm. So every year, 25 to 30 million real Christmas trees are sold.
Okay.
25 to 30 million. There are 33 to 36 million trees produced every year. So 3 to 6 million trees go unsold. All right, so this destroyed 80,000 trees. So don't tell me some BS about some Christmas tree shortage so you can jack prices up.
Well, your hands are tied here. You have to pay what they're asking. It's just like when they said there was a supposed egg shortage, and that's why our egg prices were jacked up so high. It's like, what, all of a sudden all the chickens stopped laying eggs?
Oh, I thought that was from bird flu. Or was that BS?
Oh, maybe it was.
That's what I thought it was. But now they've gone back up again.
All right, so maybe that's a bad example.
But they've gone back. Have you noticed the eggs have gone back up again?
Yeah, I just saw. I grabbed just the normal eggs I buy. They were $9.99 for a dozen.
What kind of eggs are you buying?
And these were like organic, free range.
Okay,
so I went
fancy.
with the free range non-organic, and they were $7.
Good Lord!
Yeah.
I've never paid that much for eggs in my life.
I don't know, man. I like the idea of a free-range chicken. So to me, I'm like, I'll pay $7, but I'm not paying $10 for the organic label.
The eggs I buy, I think the carton is Crystal Farms.
Okay.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I mean, they've been, a couple years ago, they had come back down to like $1.79 a dozen, and now they're back up to like $3. You're paying $8? Over here?
$7. $6.99.
Oh, $6. That's still. Good Lord. I hope those are damn good eggs.
Well, it just makes me feel better about the chickens who laid them. It does. I kid you not. It says free range. I'm counting on you being honest with me that these chickens can get out and stretch their legs, and they're not in some kind of disgusting chicken farm they're just packed in there and they're all blind because they're never let out in the sunlight. See, now I can't support a situation like that.
My eggs come from fancy, high-class, healthy chickens. You got them dirty
I don't even
backwood. You got them dirty backwood chicken eggs over there. I'm not.
Those are. That's inhumane treatment of an animal. I'm not supporting that. But I will support someone being able to throw their chickens in a yard and let them stretch their legs a few hours a day.
All right.
I'll buy those eggs and I'll pay $7 for them.
But how do you know for sure?
You don't. You have to trust them. You have to trust that the label free range means that they let their chickens be free range.
Yeah. Because I've read some stuff about organic vegetables and stuff, and it's like, it's easy to slap that name on there so you can charge a little more, but that doesn't mean it's
Well, what
guaranteed.
does free range mean to you?
No, exactly what you said. I'm just saying, I would if I'm going to spend that much money on
you want to visit the
my
farm?
eggs, I would. I want to know. I want to see this farm.
You're willing to go visit a farm?
I want to see how your high class, fancy chickens are living.
Yeah, I didn't say they were high class. I said they were living a good life, though.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Metallica on the Morning Blitz, 8:40. Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, and got to say congratulations to Suzanne Gehring. She was the ninth caller, and she got her choice of tickets to the Blitzmas Concert Series. She took the show with Daughtry, Sleep Theory, and Devour the Day at Kemba Live. That is coming up in 2 weeks, Friday, December 6th. So that means we have In This Moment tickets still to give away coming up just after 9 o'clock. That'll be the final pair of the week. Did want to mention that Ryan Simmons texted in and said, I am an egg farmer, and the cost increase was from the bird flu.
Okay.
That definitely happened. And Ryan also said free range and cage free means they can run around the barn freely.
Yes, that's all I ask out of my chicken eggs, is that their original owner was able to run around freely and not be cooped up in some dank, dark situation that they never get to see sunlight, so their eyesight never develops. Have you ever seen some of those chicken farm documentaries? It's the most disturbing thing you've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
It's awful. It will make you so angry. You will never, ever buy cheap eggs again that aren't labeled cage-free or free range.
Yeah, somebody texted me and said the ones I'm buying are crap eggs. Sean said, those are chandelier eggs, or chickens. Those are chandelier chickens. And Doug said, I only eat chickens that have been raised under a chandelier.
Every chicken should be a chandelier chicken. That should be normal. If you are a corporation that's okay with treating animals the way you see some of these animals treated, then for shame. I'd hate to be you on Judgment Day. That's all I say. Listen to me. I'm like breathing hellfire on people. I just hate innocent beings being mistreated. And I know everybody does. It's not some kind of some type of special thing about me. I know everybody feels the same way, but good night.
Let's see. Aubrey says the provider I work for sells eggs $3 a dozen just from her house. Definitely free range and organic. I can hook you up, Kelly.
Perfect.
She said.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
All right, let's talk about some new goodies out today. Of course, we know the movies Gladiator 2 and Wicked are out. I cannot wait to see Gladiator 2. They better not mess this up, Kelly.
Yeah?
Don't mess up my movie now. I mean, that's a top 5 movie all time for me is Gladiator 1, so they better... I don't expect it to be as good. I mean, you're never going to recreate that greatness, but you got to be a quality movie.
Is Gladiator 2 a continuation of the story, or is it just a reimagining?
Oh, no, it's a continuation. You saw Gladiator? Did you ever see it? Okay, so the young boy, Lucius, he is the Gladiator now.
Oh.
He's all grown up.
Okay.
He's Gladiator 2.
Gotcha.
So, yes, it is a continuation. So, yeah, just give me a good movie. Come on, I want a really good movie. That's all I'm asking. Is that too much to ask? Once a year, one really good movie? Can you do that for me, Hollywood? All right, we got some new music today. I didn't think we'd ever, if you'd asked me a few years ago, I didn't think we'd ever get a new Marilyn Manson album, but we do, and it's called One Assassination Under God, Chapter 1. Sounds just like Marilyn Manson. I know I'd heard a clip of this, and I think we might have even played it when it first came out, called As Sick as the Secrets Within, which is kind of a saying from rehab, and it's obviously about drug addiction. There's that, and then I got another clip of a song off the new album called Sacrilegious.
I don't really like that.
Huh?
I don't really like it.
You don't like it?
No, I think it sounds lame.
Okay.
Not like Marilyn Manson. Except your beautiful people sort of call back on your chorus there.
Oh. It sounds like Hollywood stuff to me from the album Hollywood.
Do you like it? You're the fan.
I don't know. I have to.
rely on you.
All of his stuff, I always have to listen to it several times to kind of figure out what he's talking about and everything. And I mean, this one's kind of straightforward. He says he's feeling sacrilegious, so let's get evil. That's pretty typical.
I think Marilyn Manson better be cozying up to Jesus at this point.
I think he's kind of run out of stuff to write about.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's kind of tired, honestly.
I mean,
we get your shtick.
As sick
Got it.
As sick as The Secrets Within, I thought was really good. I really like that one. It really it nails the addiction issue really well, and again, that is a sane in rehab, and so I thought that was a good fit. I don't know. This is like the first time I've really listened to this, so we'll have to see. But yeah, not every song on any album's a winner. Well, there's a few. There's a handful of those albums, but I don't know. He's it sounds like the stuff he's been doing the last 2 or 3 albums, and his voice sounds a little cleaner than it had in the previous album, so I don't know. We'll see. This one I'm excited for. Ronnie Hunter left me an email, and she says, dude, we got a brand new song from 3 Days Grace, because, Adam Gontieri's back in the band, but Matt Wall stayed in the band, so now they have 2 singers, and so this will be their first time doing an album with 2 singers, and they're both going to be, with the band when they play Sonic Temple, and that will be on the Thursday of Sonic Temple weekend, May 8th. They'll be playing the main stage just before Bad Omens and Korn, the revamped group. And let's see here, they released a press release here. This song is a reflection of the current state of the world, an unsettling mix of delusionment, exhaustion, and denial. The sense that we're all on the brink, emotionally, socially, and environmentally, yet we refuse to admit defeat. Well, we never admit defeat. So even though we feel like we barely are surviving, we keep on moving forward, one foot in front of the other. And the song is called Mayday. It's brand new, 3 Days Grace, on your rock station, 99.7 The Blitz.
We walk like dead people who live and die.
Well.
What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. The Morning Blitz, 8:51, Kelly Quinn, Thick Rick, and brand new 3 Days Grace. The song is called Mayday. Of course, Adam Gontier on that, along with Matt Walst, and I'm sure we'll hear that live at Sonic Temple. The chorus, if you weren't really catching it, we walk like dead people who haven't died yet. We ride like passengers without a pilot. We be losing our minds, but we all try to hide it. It's hard to keep fighting when you're barely surviving. Yeah, a lot of people, that line rings true for a lot of people these days.
You're a real lyrics man.
I
I've
love
noticed.
lyrics. I love good lyrics.
Yeah, I am less about the lyrics for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I don't much care about the lyrics, but I do care about the melody and the beat and all that.
Yeah,
it's a good song.
I mean, the lyrics aren't going to do me any good if the music sucks.
That's right. That's right.
But
yeah. I noticed that they're really meaningful to you. I love it. It's not a criticism.
No, I just like to know what a song means. I like to know where they're coming from. Because you know how much I love like good metal, serious metal, but I can't really handle the Cookie Monster voice because I don't know what the hell he's saying.
Right, you can't really connect to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I've heard some great music, and then I go, oh man, you could have done so much better with those lyrics.
Yeah, my connection's more to the beat.
You ruined great music with those lyrics.
Yeah, my connection's way more to the beat and the rhythm for sure.
I don't know. Yeah, you guys can let us know what you thought. 99-700 if you want to text in about the new 3 Days Grace. Charlene said she's a lyric girl.
Yes, sure. Charlene said she's a lyric girl.
Nathan says, love it. He thought it sounded off, like it was unfinished.
Here's what I think. It's good. I absolutely listen to that. I feel like in 20 years, I'll be like, if somebody plays that song, I'll be like, have I heard that before? It's one of those things that's like good, and I love 3 Days Grace, so I don't want to criticize it. I think it does sound good, but I'm a little bit with Keith on that.
Okay. Missy says I like it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So far, the majority. Meek says, why does the hook deny saying the name of the song? Oh, well, it was in the breakdown right there at the beginning where he says, we will never say Mayday, and then they go into the chorus. So, titles are not always in the hook,
Is it Mayday in the hook? I thought I heard it.
No, it's like the pre-chorus where he says, we will never say Mayday, and then it goes...
Okay, gotcha.
We will never say Mayday.
Well, Meek's a traditionalist. He wants the name of the song in the hook.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of songs that don't have the name in the hook. That's for sure. So, Kelly, I did want to mention this to you. Yesterday we had... We talked about the AI Santa Claus.
Yeah.
There's now AI Jesus.
Oh, is that right?
You can confess to an AI-powered Jesus.
Oh, not according to the Pope, you can't.
Oh, yeah, and then this Jesus talks to you.
The Vatican won't allow confession unless it's in person, real confession unless it's in person with a priest.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. You can't confess to an AI Jesus. Sorry, Catholics.
This is at St. Peter's Church in Switzerland, an AI-powered Jesus hologram that takes confessions. The project is called Deu in Machina?
Deu in Machina?
Yeah, it's Deu. Okay.
Like God in the machine or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Allows believers to voice their concerns and receive an answer from AI Jesus. It says, I was surprised. It was so easy. And though it's a machine, it gave me so much advice. Well, yeah, it's got the whole internet to pull from.
I think it's got the whole Bible.
Well, the whole Bible, yes, you're right.
The New Testament,
yeah,
anyway.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The AI was built by a team from the Lucerne University of Applied Sciences and Arts and trained on the New Testament.
Yeah, yep. I think that's a cool little art exhibit. I love it. I'd go to it. That's what I think it is. I think it's considered an exhibit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's in a confessional. It's in Switzerland. They're like, come on in and talk to our AI Jesus. I love it. Okay. Any interaction to me like that and with a legitimate, Bible knowledge or something, I'm all for. I'd go talk to AI Jesus right today.
Yeah, and at least they're not charging $14.95 like AI Santa Claus.
Plus, you get to go to Switzerland.
That's going to cost you a little more than $14.95.
That's all right.
Reach out to cyberspace. He's your own virtual Jesus.
He's your own virtual Jesus. Someone to hear your sins from the radio. He's your own virtual Jesus.
All right.
Right now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
The Johnstown Police Department says a string of recent vehicle burglaries has ties to New Albany, Upper Arlington, and Newark. The department has video of 5 suspects breaking into nearly 3 dozen cars in and around the Leafy Dell neighborhood in Johnstown a couple of weeks ago. Now, police say the thieves do seem to be looking specifically for guns. That's mainly what's been stolen out of these cars. This group was in an Infiniti that had been stolen out of Upper Arlington, and that same vehicle was linked to other car break-ins in both Newark and New Albany. So they reminded you to take that gun out of the car when you go inside, I guess. And Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain-computer chip company, has gotten permission to start clinical trials up in Canada. Now, they're doing a couple trials here in the United States. Now, Canada says, come on in. We're interested. The idea of Neuralink is to help paralyzed people control devices with their thoughts. The company says that the Canadian trials will focus on looking at the safety and effectiveness of the chip in quadriplegics. Well, a man who wouldn't take no for an answer when he asked to get off a plane mid-flight was pinned down and duct taped by other passengers on an American Airlines flight this week from Milwaukee to Dallas-Fort Worth. According to the incident report, the Canadian man tried to open a cabin door mid-flight after arguing with a flight attendant that he needed to exit the plane immediately. Okay, so this flight attendant, just a side note, was a 79-year-old woman. Okay, this is the flight attendant face-to-face with a 6'4" man. And after she said absolutely not, he rushed her. She ended up getting injured, by the way, but as she was kind of pushed down, passengers jumped up. They grabbed the guy. This flight attendant handed them a roll of duct tape.
Damn right.
And they were able to duct tape him for the final 30 minutes of the flight. He was restrained and escorted off the plane then by the FBI and taken in for a mental health evaluation. The flight attendant was treated for wrist and neck injuries.
Yeah, here's one of the passengers.
There was no time. He was 2 feet from the door. It was just chaos. He was going for the door. And so I just grabbed the guy from behind and kept him from pulling the thing on the door. You know, we were on our knees holding him down.
Nice job, dude.
Absolutely. I love the story. I hope that I would have that kind of I don't know, bravery, I guess it would be bravery and strength to be able to do something like that.
Well, you're on a plane and this guy's doing that. You're thinking, I have to do something or I'm going to die.
My life's on the line.
You're in survival mode at that
And you see him
point.
push over a 79-year-old woman. What's wrong with you, dude? There is something.
I love they hog-tied him. They taped his ankles and his wrists and laid him on his stomach until they landed.
Enjoy the final 30 minutes of your flight, buddy. All right, those are your 3 things.